And also, I just want to do a quick shout out to all the Danes at home watching handball, the Olympic final. Denmark has just beat France.
What?
It's a big victory for our country because we do love handball quite a lot. I know a lot of people hate it.
Is that...
We just won the Olympics, guys. Hello. Anyway, whatever.
G2 just won the series.
Yeah, G2 won and Denmark won. It's great.
What would you do if I just sat up here and talked about cycling? Because that's all Britain's good at.
Did you guys win?
Lots. It doesn't matter.
Move on then.
It doesn't actually matter right now. What
the important
matters
thing is G2.
Is G2 going up against Splice in Krakow. And I want
it's going to be great.
G2
it is going to be so fantastic. G2, they've earned their place to play Splice in the Summer Split Finals in Poland. Now, Sifa, he's standing by on stage with Zven and Perkz to get their thoughts about it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I wanted to say that one for a while. But, guys, absolutely commanding performance there in Game 4, but that was not the whole story for the series. It was very back and forth in those first 3 games. Can you tell me what was going on in those games that made them feel so close?
So, first game, we actually had a lead early game, I think, and then we trolled it a bit because there was some miscommunication. We took some very bad fights, which we shouldn't have, and then we came back, or like we won some team fights because we have better comp, I think. And second game, we like got really stomped early game, so it was kind of doomed. And then we still could have won, but then when we had like 4 or 5 items, we forced the fight mid, and then it was like we can fight, but plot whistles we couldn't fight. So then game 3. What happened in game 3? I don't remember anymore. Oh, Talia game. Oh yeah, yes. The Talia game. That one was close because I think we didn't play to our winning conditions very well, in the early game at least. So they actually like got some kills with LeBlanc roaming top, and then after one fight bot, the game was kind of open up, and then it was a really good game again. But
so handing it over to you, Zven. Coming in Game 4, you put on a clinic on that Tristana. Do you think Tristana is a pick we can expect more from in the future, or is this something that you kind of pulled out in a time of need?
I don't think Tristana is like a super good pick. I think it's actually bad in lane against Sivir, but it's really good later in the game. I didn't expect to actually win lane with that pick, but it's good against their champs later in the game, as teaching and stuff like this. Good late against scaling too, but it's like I couldn't really pick Jhin against these champions. Ashe was banned and I had Sivir, so there was so many champs to pick. I think Lucian is okay, but Lucian wins lane against Sivir, but he's not so good later in the game, I think, against their champs. So I chose Tristana for weaker lane phase and stronger late game team fighting and sieging.
Well, you got the best of both worlds. You did end up winning that laning phase. Awesome to see some of those individual outplays and the confidence coming in those dives. But looking ahead, finals in Krakow, faced up against Splice. You guys went 1-1 in the regular season last time you faced. We'll pass it back to you, Perkz. How do you feel about the matchup coming up? Do you feel confident after today's games?
Well, our today's series was kind of shit, or we played pretty bad. So it's not like I feel super confident to our play, but I think we have shown not even half of what we play. From screens and stuff, because we can play a lot of different styles. So I'm pretty confident going into match versus Splice, because I feel that in that series versus H2K, they kind of exposed H2K and had the same picks all game, which won them the game. Like Wunder we were carrying along with Nara and Gragas jungle. So I think Splice is a good team, but I think we have a good chance versus them.
Final question, looking ahead, gentlemen, you've already qualified for Worlds, but unfortunately, due to the lackluster performance from Europe at MSI, the most we can hope for is a 2nd seed. So I'm curious, as we look ahead to the group stage, are you guys at all nervous coming in as a 2nd seed, knowing that you're going to have to face the top teams in the world? We'll start with you, Zven.
I think last year I had a 3rd seed, and it went pretty well for me. I think 2nd seed is not the worst, it's not the best either. But I don't think it's like a super big problem to have a 2nd seed. Sometimes 2nd seed is worse than 3rd seed. Like last year, for example, 2nd seed had EDG and SKT, so it's not always better to have 2nd or 3rd. So I think it's going to be okay for us, personally.
I think it just depends on lucky or unlucky draw in groups, but I'm fine with playing versus the best teams, because I think to actually go far in Worlds, you have to win versus everyone. So playing versus good teams in groups wouldn't be like end of the world. Maybe it will be really hard to get out of the groups, but if we do it, then we'll have a very huge confidence boost going further into tournament. So I'm just looking forward to Worlds, that's all.
Honestly, good to hear you guys both having a positive outlook on that state of affairs. But thank you so much for talking to me. Congrats again on the win. We're going to hand things back over to the analyst desk to further break down that series.
Thank you, Tifa, and welcome to the post-game lobby. I thought that was a very, very interesting interview coming out of you. A lot of interesting answers. The first thing I want to ask, of course, Trashy, you know, we asked how we do against Splice, and they said, well, very one-dimensional in terms of the draft space.
Yeah.
We immediately said, we didn't show you anything.
I mean, if you ban Gnar and you ban Gragas, you probably have a free win, because, I mean, we have no other champions to play, so
Yeah, they are.
at that point, you probably just win. So kind of sucks for us.
How are you gonna deal with this? Maybe have you tried practicing other champions, or are you just gonna keep picking Gnar and script for morale boost?
I mean, if Gragas is open in solo queue, I usually just only pick it, because it's the only champ I really can play. So I tried other champs, but not with the same success. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Trashy. Another thing that I want to jump on is Perkz saying, we trolled a bit. Every single interview that I've ever done with Perkz, or that I've heard he said if they ever lost a game, we trolled a bit. Come on, guys, isn't it time to stop? And this is the semi-final series of the splits where you know you want to prove something.
He's not wrong. He was trolling quite a bit. I mean,
But in terms of, you know...
Well, I don't know. Getting solo kill at this point almost feels like just something that's supposed to happen in the game. But jokes aside, I think this last game, it's really hard to like take something out of it, honestly, because I feel like it was nothing else like the other games. The other games were actually close, and there was just these tiny, small details that made the difference. Meanwhile, this game, it was pretty much over in a couple of minutes.
But hence the question, should a team that is vying to do well on the international stage and win the final not clean it up for semifinals and try to show, or at least play cleaner without showing that much?
I mean,
they can't.
when you're snowballing, but when you're smashing a team this hard, like
I'm talking about games 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Oh, by all means, G2 should have been cleaner. Getting sucked into the skirmish style from Unicorns. Honestly, if Unicorns were a bit more crisp in their kind of like exile roam stop, use that advantage to dive bot execution, G2 would have been 1 and 2 behind in the series.
I mean, we also have to give props to UOL. I think they played the early game in those games well, and they put like they made the G2 struggle a bit, and I don't think G2 necessarily is like the best early game team, and I think UOL found some openings to abuse that, and this series would have been even more close if UOL actually had better understanding of what to do in the mid game.